Okay, very quick video. Breaking news, Jamal Murray has sadly and unfortunately torn his ACL. What does that mean for Top Shot? Maybe I'll start covering videos like this if a player gets seriously injured or something happens, and then there's somebody who can stand to improve in the wake of the other player's absence. In this case, it looks like we might be seeing a little more point Jokic. I think that's just going to further cement him in the MVP conversation. I think it's widely known he's a great player, but him winning the MVP could improve his stock on Top Shot. But secondary players that could be impacted, I think Facundo Campazzo might fucking moon. And by moon, I mean go from like 250 to $300, which at this point, if you're making any sort of money, could be good because although Jokic can run the one, he's not going to be a guy who runs the one all game. He cannot play and bring the ball up baseline to baseline, guard the one on the other side of the floor. He's still going to man the five position defensively for whatever that means because he's not the best defender in the league. But they still need to have a good mix of size on the floor. I think a lineup of something like Facundo Campazzo, Will Barton, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic at the five would be a pretty strong starting five, one that I think could contend with literally anybody in the West. And even if it's not Campazzo, it could be Monty Morris, who doesn't have a moment in Top Shot. So because of that, I think the exposure would be towards Campazzo. This also opens up a whole bunch of shots for guys like Michael Porter Jr. and their new addition in Aaron Gordon. I don't think Aaron Gordon is going to step up as the number two on this team. I think it's going to be Jokic and then MPJ is the two. And MPJ being as relatively cheap as he is, despite how good he's been ever since the All-Star break, he's averaging like 21 and 9, shooting 43% from three. Now that Jamal Murray is out of there, and now that Jokic is going to be a true point guard type of facilitator because Jamal Murray isn't the type of passer that Jokic is, it could definitely open up more shots for Michael Porter Jr. But at the same time, when you have Campazzo out there instead of Jamal Murray, it doesn't spread the floor as well, and he might not get as many open looks from the corner and whatnot. I do think, though, that he can be a guy who puts up 20 to 25 points a game in the playoffs, has that potential to at least 30, have a big moment, and then his price and Top Shot follow and jump. I do think his Western Conference final moment, the one that is eventually going to be burned, is kind of underpriced because it's out of 999 for population, but eventually it'll be out of like 499 or 500. So the scarcity will be cut in half, and it's a three badge rookie moment. It's his Top Shot debut badge, rookie mint badge. It's a pretty good moment in it of itself as well. So I think he's a little bit undervalued. And if there's one guy I was going to go after, it would be Michael Porter Jr. I actually sold mine before this news came out. So that just shows you how big of a fraud I am. Secondary players I'd go for. Will Barton is pretty cheap. So him being in the playoffs might bring a little light to him. I don't think he's gonna be anything too expensive. He's not like an incredible player in real life. He's more of a solid role player. Campazzo is at least flashy and like the face of Argentina, as I think Pete Overzet likes to call him. So there might be upside there. I wouldn't bet too highly on it being just because he's an international player. I think it would be more so because he gets more run, he gets to show his face out there more, and he becomes like that Pablo Pergioni, Marcelo Huertas, 39-year-old rookie type of meme. But he's a good player on a great team. So all in all, I think personally, not financial advice wise, if I were to put money on anybody, higher end would be Michael Porter Jr., lower end would be Campazzo, extremely low end would be Will Barton, middling tier, maybe Aaron Gordon. And if you really got a bag to fucking drop, go for Jokic. I feel like he's somebody that just is inevitable in terms of price rising because how good of a player he is and the potential for him to win MVP and the long career he's going to have. And him being, I know it's early in his career, but like a Hall of Fame track type of player based on what he's doing this year. So I basically told you to buy everybody on the Nuggets because of this, but I really do think that Michael Porter Jr. would be the one that stands to improve the most. And then Nikola Jokic doesn't have much room to grow because I feel like a lot of his price and a lot of his upside is already baked into his price. But he's another guy who can cement himself as the MVP candidate, which could in turn help his value. And then Campazzo getting more run, getting more minutes is only going to help him as well. That's all I got for today. A quick hitting video. No plugs, no nothing. Thumbs up if you enjoyed, thumbs down if you didn't. We'll catch you guys tomorrow with a video that I don't even know what it's about, but I recorded it earlier today. My brain is fried. The content isn't. So keep up with us, and we'll keep rocking with you. Peace.
10-0, Chatham's on. Foolies glad I'm home. Even my haters kinda glad I'm on. Rest in peace to my vagabond. Rapper song, singer, suspended, subpoena from misdemeanors, dreamer.